Google today officially unveiled its flagship devices for 2022. We have the new Google Pixel 7, the Google Pixel 7 Pro, and the Google Pixel Watch. And so I'm in New York City. I was actually at the event. I had a little bit of a hands-on time, so I'm going to give you my first impressions of those three new devices from Google. So Google actually showcased 4 devices. The Pixel tablet was also included with the other 3 that I just mentioned, but that tablet's not available until next year, and unfortunately it wasn't a part of the hands-on section that I was at, so I can't really talk about it all too much, but it does look cool, and I highly recommend taking a look at Google's website if you want more information about that. But we'll start off with the Google Pixel Watch, as that's the one that I think I'm the most excited about right now and the most intriguing new device from Google. So I know there's been some light controversy surrounding the whole bezel of the watch, and I have to say that with the UI and the kind of dark mode that's going on here, and if you get kind of a darker version of the watch, I think it blends in really nicely, and I really don't think it's that big of a deal. I don't really think the watch faces that Google offers really shows any of the bezel to be that big. I really love this circular design. There's a digital crown on the side that's very familiar feeling, and it does a really nice job of, kind of helping you navigate throughout the UI. Of course, you can swipe through it if you want to. And so yeah, some of the watch faces that I've seen so far have looked really nice, and it does kind of play to its weaknesses, which would be that bezel. And so I think it really does a good job of masking everything. And so personally, I'm a big fan. I've been clamoring for a Apple circular watch, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think we're going to be kind of stuck with the square watch for quite some time. So if you are in the market for a circular smartwatch, then this might be one that could pique your interest. In terms of size, the Pixel Watch comes in one size, which is 41 millimeters, and so compared to the Apple Watch, it's definitely a bit smaller. I didn't have the Series 8 with me, so here it is next to an Ultra, and yeah, that's 49 millimeters, and so yeah, it's pretty big in comparison. Battery life for the Pixel Watch is rated for 24 hours of use, but I'll need to actually put that number to the test so we can see how close we get to that 24 hours. One thing I do want to point out is that Google finally decided to borrow a design element from Apple, and that's the way watch bands are, added on and taken off. I think a lot of other OEMs out there over the years have really done it differently and in a weirder way, a more difficult way. Apple has kind of always been at the top for me when it comes to just taking watch bands on and off. It's so much easier once you kind of know how to do it. And I think the Google Pixel Watch kind of has a similar feel to it and a similar element to the mechanism in which you would connect these watch bands. And so once you get used to it, although the person that was showing me at the demo area kind of had a hard time doing it, it could have been chalked up to nerves and being on camera, I don't really know. But I feel like once you get to it and kind of do it, you'll understand that it's way easier than some of the other watches that are out there. The health and fitness of the Google Pixel Watch is handled by Fitbit, which Google acquired a few years ago, and so you'll get about 40 different workout modes. There's a daily readiness score so that you can see how much your body can take on each day. If you need a little bit more rest, the score will indicate that, or if you think you can kind of tackle the day and do more workouts and more active stuff, then it'll let you know that way as well. And there's even a way to track your heart rhythm and let you know if you have any signs of AFib with the ECG app. You also get sleep tracking through Fitbit Sleep, where you can see a nice breakdown of your light, REM, and deep sleep metrics. Now, of course, we'll have a full comparison between the Google Pixel Watch and the Apple Watch Series 8. I don't think it's fair to put it up against the Ultra. Those are kind of two different types of watches, but we'll have a full breakdown again of the Pixel Watch and the Apple Watch Series 8 in the next coming weeks, so be sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss that video. Next, we'll move on to the Google Pixel 7 and 7 Pro, and there really aren't a whole lot of changes to the overall design and the look and the feel. It pretty much looks like the 6 and 6 Pro. There are some refinements to the camera bumps and everything. You'll get that, glossy back depending on whether you get the Pro or the regular 7. That'll have more of a matte frosted finish to it. But it's mostly glass and aluminum. It feels great. I love the feel of the 6 and 6 Pro, so I'm glad that it kept that design element. But on the inside this year, instead of Google's first generation Tensor chip, we now have the Tensor G2 chip. And it's pretty much the brains behind the entire operation here, the software and most importantly, the computational photography for its camera systems, which is something that we'll talk about right now because really when it comes to Pixel phones, that's my favorite thing that I want to go out and test. The cameras are always top notch, and so this year we have quite a few improvements. The new larger sensor will now bring in more light, so of course it's better for low light photos. There are a couple of new video modes, which stop me if you've heard this before, but there is a new cinematic blur mode and a new active stabilization mode. And if you're sitting there thinking, I have heard that before, yes, it is very similar to Apple's cinematic mode and action mode. Of course, I will put those to the test. We will have a full camera comparison between the 14 Pro Max and the Pixel 7 Pro. So again, subscribe so you don't miss those videos. Google also invested a lot in its telephoto lens that now includes a dedicated 5x telephoto range, but can also provide clear images at up to 30x zoom with what Google calls super res zoom. And the company also talked a lot about its photo unblur feature, which uses the Tensor chip and computational photography to basically make your blurry photos not blurry. And the crazy part is that obviously it works with new photos that you take with the 7 and 7 Pro, but also with older photos that might be in your camera roll. So excited to test that feature out as well. My hands-on time with the 7 and 7 Pro was also kind of limited. There wasn't really any reception or service or Wi-Fi connected with these devices, so it was hard for me to really do anything. But again, like I said before, it feels and looks a lot like the 6 and 6 Pro. The display on the 6.7-inch 7 Pro is super nice. Again, it's 120 Hertz. It feels a lot like the iPhone 14 Pro Max's display. It's very vibrant, colorful, crispy. Watching content, browsing the web, doing whatever you want to do on your phone is going to look fantastic. But of course, the biggest story for me are the cameras, and I'm excited to really test out all of the new camera features and again, put it up against the iPhone 14 Pro Max. But I'd love to hear from you. What are your thoughts around Google's flagship of devices for 2022? Please let me know in those comments down below. This has been Dan with Mac Rumors. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope to see you around in the next video.